You wake up, and your breath turns to ice on the air. It is 20,000 years ago, and a wall of ice 2 miles high sits where your country should be. You have no fur, no claws, no thick layer of blubber. Your body was built for a warm afternoon in Africa, not for this. By every rule of biology, you should be dead by morning, a soft, slow, tropical animal freezing in the dark. And yet, scattered across this frozen white planet, there are about 5 million of you, alive, warm, even a little comfortable. How? First, let me show you the world you were born into. We call it the Last Glacial Maximum, the coldest moment of the last great ice age. Giant sheets of ice, thousands of feet thick, crushed down over the north. Canada? Gone. Northern Europe? Gone. Buried. So much water is locked inside that ice that the sea has dropped by more than 300 feet. In places, you could walk from Asia all the way to America on dry land. But here is the strange part. You do not live on the ice. Almost nobody does. You live at its edge, on a vast cold grassland we call the Mammoth Steppe. Dry, windswept, brown, and stretching from Spain all the way to China. It is a brutal place. But it is absolutely teeming with life. And that is the first clue to how you survive. Now, the problem. Your body is a small furnace, and it is always leaking heat. A bare human in freezing wind loses warmth faster than it can be made. Your core cools. Your hands go clumsy, then numb. Below a certain point, your heart simply stumbles and stops. In weather like this, that can happen in under an hour. And you cannot grow fur fast enough. Evolution works across thousands of years. The cold is here tonight. So you do the one thing no other animal on Earth can truly do. You refuse to change your body to fit the world. Instead, you change the world to fit your body. And you begin with the most powerful thing you own: fire. Fire is a piece of the sun that you can carry. And by now, your kind has been keeping it alive for a very, very long time. It does 4 things at once. It warms your skin. It cooks your food so your body pulls far more energy from every single bite. It pushes back the dark. And it holds the wolves and the big cats out at the edge of the light where they belong. In your shelter sits a hearth, a simple ring of stones that almost never goes cold. It is the beating heart of the whole family. But fire has one great weakness. It stays exactly where you build it. A campfire cannot follow you out into the wind when you hunt. So to survive out there, you have to wear your warmth. And this is where humans do something genuinely astonishing. Meet the real superweapon of the Ice Age. It is not the spear, it is this. A needle, a tiny sliver of bone, ground smooth, with a hole punched through one end for a thread of animal sinew. It sounds almost boring. It is one of the most important inventions in the entire human story. Before the needle, all you could do was drape a stiff hide over your shoulders, like a gapping blanket. The wind found every single gap. With the needle, you can sew. You can cut skins into shapes and stitch them into fitted, closed, windproof clothing. Trousers, hooded coats, warm layers of soft fur turned inward, tough hide turned out against the weather. For the first time, a tropical animal can seal itself inside a warm, portable pocket of its own trapped air. You are wearing your own private climate. Now you can move, but you still need somewhere to sleep out the very worst of the winter. Where there are caves, you take them, and you paint their walls by firelight. But out on the open steppe, there are no caves at all. So instead, you build a home. And what you choose to build it from is extraordinary. You have no timber, so you use the biggest building material on the whole landscape: the mammoth. Archaeologists have found real houses made from mammoth bones, dozens of enormous tusks and jaws stacked into a round dome and roofed over with heavy hides. A single one of these shelters could use the bones of nearly 100 mammoths. A warm, round home built from the very animal that also fed and clothed you. Which brings us to the next problem. Staying this warm burns a huge amount of fuel. And by fuel, I mean food. In this cold, you might need close to twice the calories you would eat on a comfortable day now. So where does all that energy come from? From the steppe itself. It is one gigantic walking pantry. Reindeer, wild horse, bison, and the mammoth. A whole mountain of meat and fat. And fat is the real secret. Fat is dense, slow-burning energy, and out here, it is worth more than the meat wrapped around it. You even burn it for light. A hollow stone, a little melted fat, a twist of dry moss for a wick, and you have made a lamp. And when you make a kill too big to eat all at once, the Ice Age itself hands you a gift, a freezer the size of a continent. You dig a storage pit down into the frozen ground, pack it tight with meat, and the permafrost keeps it fresh for months. Nothing goes to waste. But none of this, not the fire, not the coat, not the mammoth house, works at all if you are on your own. A single human, alone in this world, is a dead human. The true survival technology of the Ice Age is other people. You live in a small band. You hunt together, you share out every kill, and you mind each other's children by the same warm fire. And you talk. You carry knowledge no single lifetime could ever discover on its own. How to find flint, where the great herds cross, how your grandmother lived through the winter you were born. Stone from one valley, seashells from a coast hundreds of miles away, turn up together in the very same camp. You are trading. You are connected. Still, there are winters the land itself cannot forgive. Long centuries when the ice pushes further and the cold bites deeper than any coat can answer. When that happens, you do the one thing a fur-covered animal never could. You pack up your entire world and you walk. You retreat south into warmer pockets of land we call refuges. Spain, Italy, the Balkans, and you wait there, sometimes for many generations. Then, when the ice finally loosens its grip, you follow it back north into the empty, thawing land, and you begin all over again. So step back for a moment and look at what actually happened here. You did not survive the Ice Age because you were strong, or fast, or armored against the cold. You were none of those things. You survived because you were the first animal that flatly refused to accept the world exactly as it was handed to you. You carried your fire. You sewed your own fur. You built homes out of giants, and you turned the frozen ground into a larder. And you did all of it together. The cold did not make you tougher. It made you clever. And in the end, it is a very large part of what made you human. That is how there came to be 5 million of you, alive on a planet that was doing its level best to freeze you out. Not one of them made it through by luck. Each one was wrapped in tens of thousands of years of borrowed cleverness. A coat, a fire, a story passed carefully down. And here is the strange, quiet truth of the whole thing. The next time you pull a warm coat around you, or lean in toward a fire, or shut a door against the wind, you are not doing anything new at all. You are simply repeating the oldest trick our whole species ever learned. The trick that carried 5 million of us through the ice and made everything that came afterward possible. You are still here because they were clever enough and together enough to keep the warmth burning. All of it still glowing, all the way down to you.